VOD time. We are watching Rogue versus FaZe. Winners bracket finals of group. Actually, there was no group. This is just winner. No, this is semifinals, I guess, technically. FaZe is up 1-0. They have 1 point. You see this? 1 point. They have 0. This is for all the new players that may not be able to be accustomed to the scoreboard. Okay? We are going to watch. We're going to mostly pay attention to compositions in this stream, since for all the new people. And we're going to pay attention to gameplay. So right off the bat, FaZe is on offense. What's interesting about this composition is that the last map, which I believe was like Hollywood, or I think it was Hollywood. I don't remember what map it was. I think it was Hollywood. It might have been like Kings Row or something. Maybe Kings Row. Tvik ran full-time what's it called? Hanzo most of the time on offense. So it's funny to me because there's like a real rivalry when these two teams play, or any game that has too easy in it. This guy, he is toxic. Toxic easy. That's what the 2 stands for. It's TO easy. Toxic. Okay? Whenever he's in a game, there's always a level of tilt and a level of BM. Like, whenever he's in the game server, you have to assume someone is going to taunt, someone will talk in alt chat, or someone will post salty tweets. Alright? We love Too Easy on this stream. This is the Too Easy fan club stream, actually. But what's funny about this is that Shadowburn is essentially saying to Tvik, I am better than you at Hanzo. And that's why he picks the Hanzo here. I don't think that they actually run Hanzo on this map. Shadowburn is like one of the best Pharahs in the world. Shadowburn's one of the best Genjis in the world. He is actually probably the best Genji in the world, and he's probably the best Pharah in Europe, and might give Tailspin a run for his money on LAN. We'll never find out. I don't think they actually play each other, or I don't know if they've ever actually played each other outside of scrims. The point being, Shadowburn is probably one of the greatest hits or projectile class players in this game. His name is Tvik. It's not Tivik. People say Tivik, like people say Twig. Like, no, his name is Tvik. I'll say Pluppy if I really want. Fact Fiction, Reinhardt, very good. Zombs, definitely one of the more dynamic players in Overwatch right now. When you talk about dynamic players, it's the players that have like the deepest hero pools. And Zombs is definitely one of those players. He's very good at Zarya. He's very good at McCree. He's very good at Reaper. He can play Tracer. He's played everything. He's a good Widowmaker. Like, he's actually just all around has very good depth. That is a strength of this FaZe roster. Zombs can play a lot of heroes. Too Easy plays everything. He played Tracer. He plays McCree. He plays Roadhog. He plays Mei. He plays wherever he wants. Shadowburn is less dynamic. He generally only plays Reaper, Genji. Sometimes you see him on Tracer. His Tracer's not that good. And Pharah. Moral of the story is, though, that this team has a lot of ability to swap heroes, and swap heroes well. Like, whenever they swap between the roles, there's never really a loss in ability. Like, Too Easy's never going to play Genji. Zombs will never play Genji. Shadowburn is so good at Genji that even when you shouldn't run Genji, he'll still run Genji because it's so good. Raucus playing Ana, nothing surprising here. Forsaken playing Lucio. Forsaken also one of the best, if not the best, Zenyatta in the game. I don't care how good this team did. I don't care if they lost their matches. Forsaken is probably the best Zenyatta in the game. In Fact Fiction, tank main, lives his life, always performs, doesn't really mess up too often. I don't remember him messing up in the series. Or there was nothing like that really sticks out in my mind. Rogue. What do we talk about with Rogue here? Let's just talk about the players. Reinforce, Reinhardt player. He has trouble switching heroes. He does not play other heroes particularly well. His Winston is not that good. He is generally always on Reinhardt regardless of what map they're on. That's Reinforce. One of the lesser experienced players on Rogue, I would say, when it comes to like competitive experience. You have Nox from TF2, Tvik from TF2, Wins from Shootmania, and I think Quake, AKM, his brother, also from Shootmania. I don't know what Unko is from. He might be a TF2 player, but I'm not actually sure. However, back to this. Reinforce, not exactly the most dynamic in his tank play. Generally only sticks to Reinhardt. Name has Ryan in it, so he's gonna play Reinhardt. Reinforce, Reinhardt. Okay. Unco, playing the Ana. Nothing really special about this. Nox, Lucio. He's been on Lucio in most of their games. This is where I think Rogue fell short today in these three heroes. Say to yourself, why Flame? They're so good. I love them to death. And you know what? They're good players. 100% they're good players. However, Tvik. Player, very good at Genji. Very good at... Actually, Tvik's not really an issue. Tvik's good at Genji. Tvik can Pharah. His Tracer is really good. What else does he play? I don't ever see him on Roadhog and stuff. He generally plays like the more skill heroes. You see him on Mei. You see him on Hanzo. He plays everything that's not McCree, I would say. And his McCree's not really that good, but he's alright, you know? Like, he's good at McCree. He gets it done. It's nothing impressive, though, because he gets outshined by AKM. AKM's problem, right? This is my opinion. You don't have to, like, take this as fact. This is one of those times where I might be wrong, and maybe he'll be like, wow, Flame, you're an idiot. There's no way you're right. Oh, you're right. It's fine. I'm writing what I'm saying anyway, so you're not missing anything. It's just me drawing words. AKM is pretty much hit scan only, and that's his, like, what's the word? That's his weakness and his strength. He's so good at McCree, and he's so good at Reaper, and he's so good at Tracer when he picks up these heroes, but he's only a hit scan player. He doesn't have the ability to go Roadhog. He can't play a good Zarya. He doesn't play a particularly good Mei or a good Pharah. Like, Tvik has to be on those heroes, similar to the way Shadowburn has to be. However, if you compare AKM to Too Easy is not exactly the greatest McCree or the greatest Tracer, but he's not particularly worse than AKM. He's just less consistent. So AKM's inability to switch heroes, like to Roadhog or to Mei or to other heroes, I think is one of their weaknesses. Wins, I think, is honestly one of the lesser impressive players on their team. His LG aim is sick. Like, when he plays Zarya, he aims super well. But his bubble usage, I think, is questionable at times. We might see it in this VOD, actually, if I remember correctly. And actually, if you watch the VOD of them versus Envious at ESL Linux Showdown, you'll actually see him almost die because he forgets that he has Zarya bubble on cooldown. And he gets saved by Nox's sound barrier, and it's a very anyone who's watched that VOD will know what I'm talking about. It was on, I believe, Li Zhang in the night market. But point being that I feel like his aim is good, but his hero ability is very limited. Like, he only really plays Zarya, and he really only plays Winston sometimes. But he's not, like, impressive to the point of, wow, that guy's really good on either of those heroes, I would say. But he's solid, very solid roster, but I think that this is why they fell short today. Okay, now that we're done drawing, this is everyone. Hello, everyone. This is me saying hi. Okay, we're done. Let's just talk about the comps. FaZe is on offense, Rogue is on defense. That's apparent. What I think is interesting about today's games is that Rogue had a very hard time switching heroes correctly, or efficiently. Like, you'll see them here, they're running the Mei Reaper Zarya. This is like the stall, the tanky, the unkillable comp, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. These three heroes, very hard to kill. You have Ice Block from Mei, you have Bubbles from Zarya, and you have, like, Phase Shift from Reaper. Like, all three of these things just make you really hard to kill. You have the heals from Unco, you have the shield, you have the Lucio. This comp does not fight particularly well, but it doesn't fight particularly bad. The ultimates on this comp are very strong. You have the Graviton, you have the Blizzard, you have the Death Blossom, you have like everything. Like, there is never a team fight where this composition will not do well. Any two ults will combo well together. Any of them. Like, you can pick any two of these and they will always work together. So that's the strength in this comp, is no matter what, if there's a team fight, you're in good position because you have really good ults, because this composition is just all about ults. And they're also very good at close range engagements because they have the Reaper and like, all these heroes are really good at close range. But they have very large range issues. So, we will look at FaZe's comp. Zom's on Zarya, probably one of the better Zaryas in North America. This is a European team, but he plays from North America. Forsaken, On Lucio, Fact Fiction on Reinhardt, very standard stuff from these three. However, if you look at the Roadhog and the Hanzo, it's a little bit more ranged and a little bit more pick-off, which is not really what this comp wants to deal with. This comp wants you to like fight and skirmish and like long drawn-out fight. But FaZe doesn't really want to play a long drawn-out fight. FaZe wants to just hit a hook and get a kill. FaZe wants to hit a Sky Arrow and get a kill. FaZe wants to Dragon Blade into Dragon Arrow into Graviton. Their ults don't combo particularly well, but if Fact Fiction is an Earthshatter, they're in good position. Like if the Zombs hits a good Black Hole, they're in good position. Whole Hog is very hard to make work, and generally speaking, the Dragon Arrow requires a little bit more prowess to like make work without any setup. And then they have Raucous, like nothing crazy here. So that's their compositions. No real advantage for either team. If anything, I would say Rogue has an easier time defending the cart. Like Rogue's team generally wants to be fighting down here when the cart comes down this way. Rogue wants like Mei walls to go up, and then you rush in with a Reaper, and you rush in with a Mei, and then the Zarya stands here and gives you bubbles. The Reinhardt maybe charges into the wall. You have an Ana up here somewhere, and then maybe up on the ledge that's up here, shooting down into the pit. Like that's generally their game plan. On the contrary, though, FaZe doesn't want to come down into the pit. FaZe wants like Fact Fiction on the cart. FaZe wants Too Easy up here trying to get hooks, or down here trying to get hooks. FaZe wants Shadowburn up on top of this ledge, shooting arrows and like trying to get kills, maybe controlling here and shooting arrows, just waiting for picks. And Zombs is kind of on cart duty. So they have conflicting playstyles in terms of how they're going to engage each other, and depending on which team dictates the positioning is the one that's going to probably prevail. We're going to try our best to not listen to the casters, because they don't actually talk about overall. So, like I said, Too Easy goes up top immediately with Hanzo. This is what they want. They're just like, goes for a blind hook. Maybe someone's hiding there. They bring Zombs up with them, which I think is smart, just in case there's any pick-off potential. You just need to protect these two heroes. This is a blind hook. Should have waited for the Sonic Arrow. That was a little bit of a mistake, I think, because Shadowburn had thrown the Sonic Arrow here. He would have seen them through the wall, but he didn't wait like that half second. You see with them right now, Zombs falls down, actually gets slept. That's a big sleep dart. I don't know how that happened actually. This camera is very hard to work with, I will say right off the bat. Like, let's go back, because he misses his hook. I don't actually know how it's possible for Fact Fiction to get a kill on AKM. Like, Too Easy and Shadowburn are pretty much doing nothing in my opinion. Like, look at this. You have Zarya is going to get slept. So the only things on the cart are Raucous and Fact Fiction. But look at this. This is what I said. Like, they all just want to converge in here. And Too Easy and Zombs aren't even trying to fight right now. So it's technically a 3v5, if not a 3v6 in the pit, I guess, or like a 4v5. Either way, Rogue outnumbers the shit out of FaZe in this pit right now, and you would expect FaZe to come out on the bottom of this engagement. Shadowburn has like 5 HP. I don't even know where he is right now. I think he's up here. I think he just got shot. Yeah, I think that's his silhouette. You can't really see, but I think it's right behind here. So I think, what's his name? Shadowburn's like here, like behind the crate, and then Zombs is here. He's about to get slept and fall, and then Too Easy's just up here. So literally, there's only 2 heroes in the pit, and it's Forsaken and Fact Fiction. But somehow they still win this engagement. So you see them backing up. They're like, we can't fight here, we can't fight here, we can't fight here. So they're backed up. Nobody's in the pit except for Zombs now. Too Easy falls in, and you see Fact Fiction here get a charge off while AKM is trying to teleport. It looks like he's mid-teleport animation. So he gets pinned down there, and that's a good kill. That's a very good kill. I don't know where Wins was with the bubble, and that's what I meant more. You see how... Alright, this is a very good example, actually. You see right here, where Wins is positioned, he's down here for some reason. His hero has range, more range than anybody. He should be like here-ish. Or, even, I mean, it's okay if he's in the pit, but the point is, why is this bubble on Nox? Like, why does Nox need this right now? He doesn't need to be doing this right now. I don't know if he was teleporting. It looked like he was teleporting. It might have just been the freeze frame. He might have just been standing there. But He didn't look like he was moving his mouse or something. This bubble on Nox is completely worthless. And they needed it here to save AKM. So Wins right there, I think, drops the ball. AKM might have dropped the ball, but the two of them made a huge mistake and it results in this kill. And then you see here, Tvik already has his ult, it looks like. Or maybe he's just frozen. Yeah, he's just frozen bites. But then Shadowburn comes in and hits, like, I guess, a scatter arrow on Tvik, insta-give. So 2 mistakes lead to 2 kills that really should have been kills in the other direction. So FaZe is in a really good spot right now. They have 2-man advantage. They have very tanky comp. That's a very good hook from 2easy. Into a sleep dart. Into a shotgun to the chest. So FaZe doesn't really have any contention right now. Like this point is actually theirs. That's a very clean push and probably one of the best times you can get. Like it's a sub 1 minute push on this point. Rogue makes a very interesting decision here to me. They decide that they're just going to contest. They know that their comp is good. They know that their comp is actually better. I think that their comp should be winning this fight or should have won those first fights but didn't. So now they're in like this weird spot where they feel like they should have won. So they think that if they take another fight, they're going to be like they should win this fight. You know, like in their heads they're thinking to themselves like, okay, how did we lose this? Okay, we made a mistake. We missed a bubble or someone got hooked. Okay, fine, let's do this again. What are the odds that that happens again? Somehow he gets insta-gibbed without using ult by Zombs. I don't know what Zombs' charge is on his shield, but it's not that much. I think Forsaken must, or not Forsaken, I think Shadowburn must have hit a scatter arrow again, or some form of arrow, because I don't know how Tvik actually took that much damage. But okay, whatever. He comes in, they die. This is now they're just going to start chain feeding. One Tvik is like a large majority of their damage and a large majority of their team fight potential, because Reaper Zarya is obviously good by itself, but Mei Reaper Zarya is like super scary. And now you're fighting 5v6 against heroes with like ult advantage and positional advantage. And the card heals them at the same time. Now AKM feels desperate. He needs to go in, but he only has 30% ult. And like while he's phasing, they just ignore him. They're not really afraid of AKM at all. And nobody is even giving him the time of day to look at him. They're just going in on this corner and just overloading the shit out of this corner. Because if AKM's not shooting at them, they don't have any damage. They have Reinhardt, Zarya, Lucio, Anna. Like, nothing scares FaZe right now if AKM is in his Reaper Wraith form. So they're just going to ignore him. And you see Shadowburn here get a kill. Very good kill. Okay, so right now if you're Rogue, you're a little bit tilted, I would say. Or I would expect you to be a little bit tilted because you just got rolled over by a comp that I think you should have just straight up beaten. But it goes back to this comp. They're running the Reaper or the Roadhog Hanzo, which is like insta-give comp. You have the scatter arrows, like this is a scatter arrow. You have the hook. These two abilities just get you free kills. And every time that they hit them, like Shadowburn hits his arrows, or he hits a hook, it's a kill. Anytime you get a sleep dart, it's a kill. Anytime you get a charge, it's a kill. Their entire comp is reliant on those very insta-give-ish abilities. Whereas Rogue is all about the team fight. So every time Rogue loses a player, it's like they're playing 5v6 into a comp that can insta-give one player at a time. So they didn't die together and they never actually fought together here. Like at no point did Rogue have 6 players fighting 6 players. It was always one player died, then there's 3 people left. Or one player died coming in and there's 5 people left. Like they never once had 6 people alive on this push, and FaZe didn't lose a single player. This was a 0 death push from FaZe. So this is very clean, and Rogue is in a pretty awful position, I would say, because now they've given up the hanger for the most part. Like they should be able to just get through this door now, get position on the space shuttle, and keep rolling. Questioning whether or not Shadowburn's going to stay on the Hanzo. I guess he has ult, so he'll stay. But the ult economy is super in FaZe's favor right now. Like, they really just need to wait for Zombs to get his Graviton so they can combo the Dragon with it. Because comps that don't run Zarya don't really have the best answer to the Dragon. Just spamming, he's doing good damage, Good sleep dart. Very good wall. That wall almost saved the Reinforce's life, but I think the kill on Reinforce is a big deal. In the back, though, AKM got a kill on Zombs, which is pretty big because it delays his Graviton even more. Yeah. But that kill on Reinforce is pretty big because now they don't have shields. TV throws his ult down, and AKM gets Nano boosted and Beyblades. So this is the Nano Blossom. People are calling it the Beyblade. I don't mind calling it the Beyblade, but for trademark purposes, we will call it the Nano Blossom. I think adding Nano to the other ults is like a Nano Shatter sounds cool. A Nano Dragon sounds cool. A Nano Blade sounds cool. Like, I feel like people are missing an opportunity to just put the word Nano in front of everything. But because Reinforce died, they were forced to win that fight using 3 ultimates, and FaZe didn't really overcommit. I mean, they Nano boosted, I believe, Fact Fiction. They used their Earth Shatter as well, but they still have this massive combo in the Zarya Hanzo. And they don't really have the best answer to the Hanzo on Rogue. Like, Rogue is not really the best composition to deal with the Hanzo. They're all close range heroes, and if he keeps his spacing well enough or he gets the high ground, they don't really have the best ways to deal with him. They actually have no way to deal with him. The only way Shadowburn dies if he gets caught out of position. So whatever. That's, I guess, what I'm saying. Like, as long as Shadowburn positions himself well, he's not really gonna die. Now Zomz has Graviton, they should be looking for a good Graviton here. AKM goes in here, gets the kill on Shadowburn. However, Shadowburn just used his ult and kills Tvik. Zomz gets the kill on Reinforce. I don't know how Reinforce died again. Too easy on McCree. I missed this entire swap. This is a very good swap. Weezy was playing Hog. They switched their comp together. The two of them switched their comp together. It wasn't one hero decided to switch, it was both of them decided to switch. This is what you want in your team. Weezy goes McCree. McCree is very good in wide open spaces like this area. Like, you have pretty good spacing here, you have good spacing here, you have good spacing up on the ship. If he gets a flashbang on any 3 of these heroes, he'll get a kill 9 times out of 10. And it only works well. It works better for him because I honestly, to God, think that Wins's bubble usage is questionable. So if he doesn't have bubble ready for the flashbang, every time he flashbangs, he's probably going to get a kill. Or he's going to, like, have the ability to get a kill. So McCree in general is just really good against Reaper. It's decent against Mei. It's not the best, but it's also not that good against Zarya, but if you can get range, it's good against all of them. It's just depending on the situation, you know? So Weezy switches to this. He switches to McCree. Shadowburn gets off the Hanzo, immediately goes Genji. Genji's, like, amazing. He's the best player in the world at Genji, so he should go Genji, you know? But you'll see Rogue hasn't swapped at all. Rogue is still on the exact same thing that they spawned with at the beginning of the game, and now they have to deal with a Genji. And their comp's not really that good at dealing with Genji. They're good at, like, living through a Dragon Blade, but they're not the best at, like, killing a Genji per se. Like, generally when you want to kill a Genji, you want a McCree on your team, you want a Winston on your team, you want some way to reliably kill him. They don't really have that. They can freeze him if he's out of position. They can LG him down if he lets them. He can, like, they can sleep dart him. That's really it. There's no real easy way to kill Shadowburn now. So Shadowburn has a lot of control in this game right now. The same goes for Too Easy. They have a lot of range. Like, you can poke with the McCree, like, just take random spot shots from across the map and, like, maybe hit some headshots. You do, like, 100 damage to someone, and then you finish them off. You get them down to, like, 40 HP, and then you say, hey, Shadowburn, like, Reaper has 10 HP, and then he just dashes in, he's dead. And, like, that's why these two heroes work really well together. That's why this is good, and it's good that he didn't switch, he didn't stay Hanzo. Like, Hanzo McCree is not as strong as Genji McCree, I would say, and Genji Roadhog isn't as strong as McCree, or called Genji McCree. So this, like, dual swap was really good, and I think it catches Rogue off guard. Like, I don't think they expected this McCree to come in and get 2 kills. I don't even know if they knew that they had it. But the fact that he just got, like, a 3K, he gets a 3K here without high noon or anything is a very good thing, and it definitely caught them off guard. So this is where I go back to that point of them having really bad roster depth. They need a McCree, or they need a Winston. You want a Winston. Someone needs to go Winston. It doesn't have to be anyone in particular, but you want a Winston. I do think, though, it shouldn't be your Reinhardt player. Like, Reinhardt's so important all the time on this map, especially now that they have the McCree. like, and the Ana, I mean, they always had the Ana, but do you know how hard it is to play against an Ana and a McCree when you have a Reinhardt on your team? Like, if someone's on Too Easy's screen, he can shoot at them. If someone's on Raucous' screen, he can shoot at them. Like, these two heroes can build ult super fast. Like, Ana already builds ult super fast. Imagine now if she can do damage in between the healing. Like, this is why I think this is a mistake right here. Like, I don't agree with this at all. I would say AKM could go Winston, TV can go Winston, Wins can go Winston, but I don't think Reinforce should be the person going Winston. I think TV should be, honestly. If I was going to pick someone out, I'd say TV should be going Winston. Because Winston Zarya is really strong and Winston Zarya Reaper is really strong. But Winston, like, this comp now is just full-on team fighting, but they have this Ana. And Ana doesn't really have protection anymore. So I think that this makes them a little weak here, and I would have preferred not Reinforce going Winston. Because I don't know what his ult was on the Reinhardt, but it probably wasn't that high. But if you don't have Reinhardt for the third stage, you're putting yourself like at a really big disadvantage, I would say. So like you see Too Easy here, he's just doing whatever he wants. Like he doesn't care about that Winston bubble. Gets a free kill into Tavik. Gets his flashbang off. Ooh, AKM gets a really big Nano Blossom off. Like that's a really, he gets a 4-man kill, 3 kill, 3k. It's a 4k. So this is just Fact Fiction and Zoms now versus Wins and Reinforce. You can't really ask for a better result, I guess, if you're FaZe, because 9 times out of 10, like they would have died. The fact that they survived this combo is, or that they survived the Death Blossom, is pretty RNG. I wouldn't say that it's reliable at all. They got lucky. Like look at their health. They're both like super low. But yeah, if you look at the health, like Reinforce and Wins have no health, and Zoms and Fact Fiction have like very low health. So it just comes down to who wins this fight, who uses the shields better, and Zoms gets both kills, and Fact Fiction lives as well. So Zoms clutches here, and this is a really big deal, because if it had gone the other way, there was potential for Rogue to regain control of this area, but since the two of them live, and they're the last ones to survive, which is something that's pretty rare, this doesn't happen very often where teams wipe and there's just like 1 or 2 people alive. This is really good for FaZe because it secured the checkpoint and it didn't take any more time and it didn't really slow them down at all. But yeah, Zoms played really well. And now Zoms almost has ult. And they're still stuck on this Winston. And now their comp is starting to make even less sense in some ways. They're running like a dive comp on defense, which is decent, but then they have the Reaper. And you can argue that the Reaper is good with the nano boost, but it's like, okay, like that's it? Like that's really all you're going to bring to the table? They don't have protection now on their back line. Like Shadowburn can still go in on Unko and probably kill him if he wants, or he can go on, and he can really go on anyone because there's no Reinhardt to swing him out. But Tavik feels like the May's not working anymore, and like obvious, the May never worked. Like it never actually did much because he kept dying to Shadowburn. Like Shadowburn hit him with I think 2 or 3 scatter arrows throughout this map, and Tavik's like KDA right now is probably like 0-5 or something, like just from deaths to random arrows or shots from Zoms, or I think he just died to a high noon from Too Easy in that last push. Now they're gonna get this push for free almost because there's nothing to really stop them. Like, all right, you have to deal with this Winston. Winston comes in, Zoms drops a Graviton, they get a kill on Wins. Wins is dead. Now your Zarya is dead. Now you actually have no protection. So watch. Like, they're just gonna go in now. There's like nothing stopping Shadowburn. Fact Fiction dies to AKM, whatever, fine. You think the TV Genji switch was a bit of an FU to Shadowburn? I'm a better Genji. Maybe. I think it's just more he's frustrated because he's not getting any kills because he's been playing Mei, and the Mei is actually just getting destroyed. Like they're dealing with this Mei super well. They're shutting him down whenever he's on their screen. They're killing him, and I think he just wants to feel like he has more control over the outcome of the game because he knows that he's not doing anything on the Mei. But yeah, you're seeing right here, they kill Wins. They kill, what is it, Unko? And now he just pops Dragon Blade, and he's like, okay, free reign. Like, Reinforce is out of position. He's behind the card now, and now it's just like Tavik, Nox, and AKM, and they have to deal with Shadowburn. So Shadowburn's like, okay, kills 1 support. Gets kind of boned by the Wraith form, but It doesn't matter because he almost finished off AKM and then Forsaken wound up getting the kill on AKM, which is a really big deal. Like, AKM dying there is a massive deal because now he's not here to defend this cart. Reinforce gets nuked by Ana as soon as he gets out of spawn, instantly dead. And now that Reinforce is instantly dead, he switched back to Reinhardt. You see, like, he knew that playing Winston was a mistake. Like, they needed a Reinhardt. So they still need a Winston, you know? Like, someone really should have been on Winston this whole time because Winston's decently good against McCree and Winston's pretty good against Genji. So, like, Tavik needs to suck it up here and go Winston, or that's really it. Tavik really just needs to suck it up here and go Winston. I think AKM should have been on McCree, and I honestly wouldn't have hated for Unko to go Zenyatta or something. They might be saying to themselves, like, okay, our style's better, we're just better, I don't care what our comp is, like, we'll just beat you. But you can see here that they're getting plowed because they keep switching heroes, they keep losing their ult advantages. Tavik hasn't gotten a Dragon Blade because he just switched to Genji. Reinforce just got off Winston, now he's back to a fresh Reinhardt, and he dies instantly as 15% ult. And they're just getting, like, farmed. So, like, FaZe had full control of this map. Like, full control of this map. Weezy goes in, just spamming them into the door, and they're just getting farmed here. Like, just completely pushed in. Like, that's a massive time. 4:30. I think it's like 4:40, right? That's the time that they got. That's a super fast time. The cart really didn't stop for more than like 10 seconds every point or something. So, like, that was a really good half from FaZe. FaZe just dictated the pace like the entire way through, and that was a really big deal. So now they have a lot of room to play around, I think, on defense because they know that no matter what happens, their time was good. I mean, obviously the second round's a big deal and you want to shut them down, but I would say that they can go for wonkier strategies here if they want. But yeah, I don't know. It looked like they were just out of position. Do you think this match shows the importance of taking the initiative? Yeah, I mean, I think it shows the importance of just like playing your game. Like, Rogue tries to adapt, and like they're trying too hard to adapt mid game. I think they had to come in with like a plan. I don't think that they had a plan coming into this match. So you see here, this defense is insane actually from FaZe. This is like a very strange defense when you look at it. They have like a defensive Genji, defensive Tracer, defensive... They have 3 DPS. Wow, 3 DPS. What patch is it? No Zarya. But this is what I mean. Zoms can go Reaper, and he plays a really good Reaper. But, like, Rogue can't do this because Wins can't, like, just switch to Reaper. Not that good at it. Or it doesn't work as well, I guess. He might be good at Reaper, I don't really know. But they're running Genji Tracer defense. You'd rather see the Reinhardt be a Winston, but I think you need Reinhardt just for cart stability. Like, you need a way to not get destroyed throughout the game. Like, Earthshatter is very good even by itself, and Reinhardt's just a good hero by himself too. Like, you don't need setups to do damage as Reinhardt. You can just like exist as Reinhardt and you'll do fine. But to point out something, I think now they're just abusing the fact that Shadowburn had so much room on the Genji. FaZe does this a lot though. FaZe runs defensive Genji all the time, man. This isn't really a surprise. I think the surprise is too easy on Tracer, but he knows Tavik's gonna run Tracer. Like, he knows this because Tavik always does this. Tavik always plays Tracer on this map. It doesn't matter. He's either playing Hanzo or he's playing Tracer. So if they already counter him straight up, because if he was on Hanzo, Shadowburn's good against that, and if he's on Tracer, Too Easy's good on that. So Too Easy just needs to hunt him. Like, all he has to do is take Tavik out of the game. Like, just remove him from the game. If Tavik doesn't get rolling on offense, this team struggles super hard. Like, they're very reliant on him doing work because AKM just kind of sits in the back and does his hit scan thing. But their damage has to come from Tavik with this lineup. Like, they're going into so much damage. The one negative that FaZe has is that they don't have a Zarya. But again, like I said, I really don't find Wins's bubble usage like as strong as other Zaryas. So it's not that this isn't that big of an advantage. So like on paper, I really like FaZe's comp because whenever Shadowburn has Dragon Blade, they don't even have a real way to deal with him other than Tavik chasing him around. So it really comes down to whether or not Too Easy can shut down Tavik. But I think that this is them just saying like, we know your weaknesses, Rogue, and we're just gonna exploit them. You know? Hello, puppy. Yeah, 3:20 on the clock for FaZe is really good. See here, Tavik's just getting hunted. Too Easy doesn't give him any room. He's like, okay, I'm chasing you around the map. And like, that's what he's gonna do. Too Easy is literally on Pluppy duty right now. Whenever they call out where Tavik is, Too Easy's just gonna have to go find him. See here, he's just chasing him. He's like, get out of here. Like, this is my area. Just makes him afraid to fight. Tavik's just still trying to flank, still trying to flank, still trying to flank. They call out where he is, Too Easy immediately rotates. Tavik is really having a hard time finding an opening. Like, Too Easy's here, he tries to find Too Easy. Too Easy doesn't care. Like, Too Easy's just making sure he can't flank through the staircase. AKM kills Fact Fiction, that's a really big deal. This goes back to them not having the Zarya. This is where like you wish you had the Zarya because you don't really have a way to protect your Reinhardt. That's really why I think the Winston might have been better. The only way that they can heal him is with Raucus, and you can tell that Raucus has his work cut out for him. So to counter offensive tracer, following her on a defensive tracer would do it. Yeah, I think like even in your pub games and stuff, if you are getting destroyed by a tracer and you're not confident that your McCree is going to shut it down, like if you miss a flashbang as McCree, you generally just die to tracer. You're more survivable as tracer, and if you can just like, you don't have to like kill the enemy tracer, you have to like make sure it's not doing anything. Like Tavik has done absolutely nothing. He's just been like on Too Easy duty. But Too Easy's been on Tavik duty, so he's just been dealing with Tavik the whole time. But now you're seeing the strength of the Reaper with the Zarya. They're just running in at them, and there's not much they can do. Like even though Tavik hasn't done that much, AKM and Wins have been able to get a lot done. The good news for FaZe though is that they have 3 DPS. Like they have very good ult timings because the DPS classes generally build ult very fast. Dom switches off of the Reaper. I think he was on Reaper, right? He was on Reaper. So he switches off the Reaper to go McCree, and that's cool too. Like now they're running McCree, Tracer, Genji. Like you don't really see this that often. But this is one of the perks of the FaZe lineup is that they're able to do this. But I really think you need Zarya in some form. I mean, it's risky, but if you can make it work, you can make it work. You see Too Easy here. He has Pulse Bomb, but he's not really sure when to use it because they don't really have the best setup for it. So what's interesting about this actually is that Rogue is pushing the cart. FaZe pops the Dragon Blade and the Nano Boost behind them, and suddenly all of Rogue has to deal with it, you know? Like Rogue turns around all of them. They kill them from behind, but while this is happening, like the cart's not really moving. So this isn't terrible for FaZe. Obviously this fight didn't go too well, but I want to highlight something actually. This kill right here is a big deal, and you'll see why. So the fight happened, and all of Rogue got dragged back. The cart wasn't moving most of this time. I don't think it moved at all once the fight started. Tavik is still on the, or Too Easy was still on the cart, and I think Forsaken's on the cart now, or maybe Raucus. Someone's on the cart right now. But they got this kill on Reinforce. So if they take a fight right now, FaZe, like if they respawn and come back to the cart, Reinforce won't be there. So this kill right here is really a very big deal, in my opinion. Because the cart probably won't cap. Like I think they'll all still have time to spawn before the cap point gets contested. And yeah, like you see them feeding on the cart because they have to. Like they know that they're not going to get out. But Reinforce is dead. And you're seeing here, they have Earthshatter, they have Pulse Bomb, and they have like Zom switches off McCree to go Zarya. I think that's smart. and they're halfway to get nano boost. But if they can delay the card here, they can fight against FaZe without a Reinhardt. So Fact Fiction can actually just hit an Earth Shatter. Like, no matter what he wants to do, he's just going to hit an Earth Shatter because there's no shield to block it. And this is a mistake, I think, right here by Rogue. Reinforce switches to Winston because he wants to get back to the cart fast because it's about to cap, and he's all the way back here at spawn. So, like, he switches to Winston to get back, but you need a Reinhardt. Like, Fact Fiction can actually just come out right now and with a bubble on him and just Earth Shatter, and nothing can stop them. Because there's no shield here. There's no, like, block for the Earth Shatter. If Fact Fiction just comes out right now and sees 5 people on his screen, he's going to hit probably 3 of them at least, unless, like, I don't know, Tracer can blink dodge it, or he can Wraith form, or maybe Wins has 2 bubbles. But not having a Reinhardt just means the enemy Reinhardt has, like, the easiest time making Earth Shatter. So that 1 kill on Reinforce, not only did it remove the Reinhardt from this defense, it made him think that it was okay to switch off Reinhardt to go Winston, and now they have a Winston. Like I said, I don't hate Winston, but I think giving up Reinhardt is like a mistake. And I don't agree with ever giving up Reinhardt. At least not on this map. So you see here, Too Easy gets in. He dies, but he gets in, and he slows down the card a little bit. Fine, I don't know that he thought he was going to die. Unco gets a very nice shot on him. Kills him, whatever. But you see here? What did I just say? Fact Fiction just hits Earth Shatter, and he gets like 2 or 3 people here. And then they get the Ana nuke on themselves, and then they get the sound barrier, and now you're fighting into these 3 heroes without a Reinhardt. So Tavik didn't, I think he pulse bombed. He might have pulse bombed. I don't know what happened to the pulse bomb. I think he had one. We can go back and watch. I'm trying to figure out, maybe Zoms popped it off or something? Zoms is very good at his cooldown management. But I'm trying to figure out where that pulse bomb went. You see Tavik here. They have the combo. Easy dies. They graviton. Instant Earth Shatter. Okay? 2 people on the ground. I think it's Nox and Winds are on the ground now. And they pop the sound barrier. They drop the Ana nuke. And I don't know where the pulse bomb goes here. He tries to get it on somebody. Oh, it does go off, but the sound barrier blocks it. And I think they didn't have. There's like a weird damage mitigation thing with Ana nuke. I don't know how it works, but sometimes Ana's nuke like has a weird instance of damage block. I don't know if that's actually a thing. Like, there's no tooltips in this game for me to check. But I know that there's times where I'll do damage to someone that has Ana nuke on them and they just won't take damage. So it only did like half damage there or something. And didn't actually get the kill on who I believe was Shadowburn. Or might have been Forsaken. I don't know what that happened. But whatever. Point is, this combo doesn't work, and they don't have a Reinhardt now. So now they just have to kill Tuvik, and they can win this fight pretty handedly. Reinforce kills Shadowburn. Shadowburn had like no health. But you see Zoms here just staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. Forsaken kills Nox. Fact Fiction kills Reinforce. Zoms is back at 53%. But that's a very big hold, and they overcommitted. They swapped heroes. They wasted their Pulse Bomb Graviton, and now they don't have a Reinhardt. So now they're going to keep pushing this cart without a Reinhardt. But now they have Death Blossom Nano Boost, so in reality it doesn't matter because even though their comp isn't that good, they have this like insta-win ability that'll probably just shut down all of FaZe right here. Yep, there it is. Spin to win, boys and girls. So like there it is. It doesn't matter that their comp was that bad. Like I analyzed how bad their comp is, but if Nano Boost and Death Blossom wasn't so crazy good, then I think that they might have actually just lost this combo. But the fact that they have those ults is a big deal. Teams, this is what Fnatic tried to do. Like they're doing pretty much the exact same thing Fnatic did. It doesn't matter how bad you play 9 times out of 10, as long as you have that combo, and as long as you have the other combo. Like you have 2 combos here, right? You have Pulse Bomb Graviton. This is a very easy combo to get team wipes with, and you have Nano Boost Death Blossom, another very easy way to get kills. So like you can generally win a fight with one of these combos, and if you have 2 of them, you'll definitely win the fight most of the time. But this is, I guess, what I think is an issue, is that this is a very easy thing to do. Like, I honestly think that FaZe should have had a better advantage here, but there's nothing you can really do to counter the Nano Boosted Death Blossom. The only way you can do it is if you like have a flashbang ready. Like Envy did a very good job of defending against it, but they had a McCree full time. Like just on defense, they would run full time McCree. Or they would have a sleep dart sometimes. Like someone would hit a sleep dart. I think Chips would hit a sleep dart. Like hitting a sleep dart on a spinning Reaper is very hard. Having McCree is good, but you see here they switched to McCree now. Too Easy gets off of the tracer that he was on. I guess he didn't feel like he was doing too much. They still don't have a Reinhardt though. And this is gonna hurt them. Like, I think Reinforce is just kind of feeding here. I don't know why he's kind of feeding here, but he's going in trying to get kills like a little too deep. Like the cart's not really moving too much. Like he makes space. I guess the kill on Zombs is a big deal, but Zombs has Graviton now, so it's not that big of a deal. It's just he's making space, I guess, with that ult. It's not the worst ult, I guess. Now Unko pops the nano boost, but he hits it on AKM, and AKM doesn't have ult at all. But it's still a very strong ult. In the background though, Genji or Shadowburn switched to Genji. Or he was always on Genji, what am I talking about? Shadowburn switches to, or goes Genji, kills Nox, I think with the Dragon Blade, and then Fact Fiction finishes off wins with the Reinhardt. So even though he was able to get this kill on the Zenyatta, it's not really that big of a deal because he lost 2 of his teammates. Like, you need 6 people to cap the cart. Whenever you finish a map, if you lose a person, the game gets infinitely harder. Because spawns are so advantageous for defense on the last point of most maps that if you don't have your entire team there when they start coming out of spawn, whenever defense gets a kill, it's instantly rewarded because if you had, it was like a 5v5 and then maybe they get a kill and now it's 5v4, but then their next person spawns up and suddenly it's 6v4. Or maybe at 6v6 you lose a person and then you trade and then suddenly it's back to 6v5 because you have to wait for that last person to come back from spawn. So these 2 kills on wins and Unko are really big, and I guess Unko is already dead. And yeah, I don't know. He was already dead, so AKM and Nox going down is a big deal. So this is a very good hole from FaZe. Like, they're in a very good position now. Because Reinforce is still playing Winston, so he probably needs to go Reinhardt as soon as possible, in my opinion. Their comp doesn't make sense at all. They're running like half a dive comp with a Reaper. And an Ana. Like, I think you run this comp with a Zenyatta. I don't think you run this comp with an Ana. And I don't think you run this comp with a Reaper. You run it with a Genji. Shadowburn is just so good. This is where you, like, it turns into a Shadowburn show. Like, Shadowburn just gets 2 kills. He dives Unko. He sees Unko's a low health. He sees AKM's a low health. He just goes in, gets his kills, stays alive, stays alive. You see him, like, abusing this crate right here in his wall climb. He just keeps going back and forth, around the box, around the box. Like, he's good. And yeah, it is a big deal, that rogue part around the box. But now you see here, they switch to the Reinhardt. And Reinhardt's good, but they don't have a McCree. So the only thing that they're really protecting is Unko. Like, AKM and Wins have to play together and like keep each other alive in some form, or at least do damage together. But Tavik's kind of on his own. Like, he's playing Tracer. Tracer's kind of a lone wolf. But they don't have the best. They still don't have really the best way to deal with Shadowburn outside of the Reinhardt. So right here, massive play from Shadowburn. And yeah, I don't know how he does this so often, but I don't know if you guys caught it. He just reflected the Graviton. He does this more often than any player in the game, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know how he does it, but if you're ever watching their games, he does this at least once a game, or at least like once a series. So here, instantly reflects the Graviton. That's a huge mistake from Wins. Like, massive mistake from Wins. Because, first of all, you can shoot the floor. Second of all, you can shoot the ceiling. Second of all, you can just wait till his deflect's down. This is what I mean. Like, I think Wins' Zarya wasn't that good. Like, this shouldn't really happen. Like, Genji should not be able to do this. It's the same way that, like, D.Va shouldn't be able to matrix your ult. Like, you should be waiting until you physically see the ult go down, or the defense matrix go down. And you should also be waiting until you physically see the reflect turn off. Like, Genji's going to use reflect no matter what every fight, right? Like, just wait for him to use it so you know you can get a free one. But this is a massive play. Genji sets himself up for a Black Hole Dragon Blade. Like, that was like a celebratory Dragon Blade. And right now, you're tilted as shit if you're on Rogue, because Rogue was banking on that Dragon Blade so hard. Because look at what they had. They had the Death Blossom combo. They had Nano Boost. They had the Pulse Bomb ready. They had all of these things to win that fight, but it just got shut down so hard by that one play from Shadowburn that it gives FaZe more time. Like you saw Raucus here, he actually switches off the Ana to go Zenyatta. I don't know why he makes this switch, but I don't hate it. Like Zenyatta is so good at defense when you're rolling. Like the fact that these ults are good together, or like that they counter each other, like if the Ana nuke doesn't hit the Graviton or anything, like now they have no setup for the Ana nuke. So that Graviton being down is a huge deal. Because it takes about 2 minutes to get a Graviton anyway if it's slow, and this is seeming like it's going to be slow. So Raucus is on Zenyatta. They want more damage. Raucus does so much damage. Raucus is like a third DPS. Like I'm sure if you like spec their scrims and you check the medals or some shit, like Raucus would probably always be in the bronzest damage, like more than Zoms if he's on Zenyatta the whole time. Like his Zenyatta is so good. And I think this combo right here is good enough to deal with the nano boosted Death Blossom. Like I think you'll survive decently enough, like unless they're right on top of you, I guess. I think the Transcendence is enough to deal with the nano boosted Death Blossom. It's just if the Ana hits the nuke, then obviously suddenly the Transcendence does nothing. But Raucus isn't that bad, you know? Or not Raucus. Why is Raucus on Zenyatta? This is interesting. I meant Forsaken. But they switched roles, I guess, because of the fact that they were running... Yeah, I messed up here. I honestly thought that this was Forsaken, but it's not. So this is interesting, I guess. But the two of them can play whatever. That's a brain fart on my part. I honestly thought that this was Forsaken, because Forsaken's like the best Zen in the game. But the point still stands. Forget how good they are. Yeah, Raucus is the Ana player. So sometimes they'll switch it back and forth. But most teams don't run Ana Zenyatta, so it's weird. But they have their ults here, and that's really what's important. So now they have a really good way to deal with Rogue's incoming push. Yeah, Golden Boy just screams, "Oh my god," like 5 times in a row or something. So as long as the supports from FaZe can get their ults off here, so like they pop the drop the beat very early, and this turns into where now Rogue is waiting for their opportunity to get an ult off, because now that the sound barrier is down. Okay, this is actually super funny too, right? Like they tilted the shit out of Rogue here because they got wins to get off Zarya. Now he's on Winston, and he's not particularly that good at Winston. You know what I mean? So Genji, of all heroes, actually gets the kill on wins. Just because of that sound barrier, they never really found an opening here to get anything off. And it looks like Reinforce wasted his ult. Like, I guess Zoms used Graviton too. It was really hard to spectate this fight because Shadowburn was chasing... They just had the camera on Shadowburn chasing a Tracer and a Winston. But what looks like happened is Zoms threw the Graviton, they Earth Shattered, and then they killed AKM or Unco. I guess they killed AKM and Reinforce. Reinforce also used his Earth Shatter, but it obviously did nothing as everyone on FaZe is still alive. So now they're down at Earth Shatter. They lost AKM, I guess, to the Earth Shatter from Fact Fiction, and then they kill wins the end of the fight. So now Rogue is really slowed down, and Raucus still has his Transcendence. So they still have a counter to this combo, which is a really big deal. If he gets a late kill here, but he's just delaying the inevitable. Like he's obviously gonna die here, but he's just wasting time on the clock, I think. Like that kill on Zoms isn't that big of a deal. And now Wins goes back. Look at how crazy this is. Like this is so bad. Like he switches. He switched from Zarya after the Graviton got reflected to go Winston. There were 2 minutes on the clock when he switched to Winston. Now there's 1 minute on the clock, and he switches to Zarya. And he's not even going to get his Graviton, most likely. Like, I don't think there's a way for him to get Graviton. So, he switches heroes really, really poorly here. But they feel like they need a Winston because they need a way to deal with Shadowburn, but they don't. You know? So I think that was a really good bop from Forsaken. I don't know how he got the bop off, but it looked like someone pushed AKM away. But Raucus popped the Transcendence to save everyone. Nobody died to the Nano Boosted Death Blossom. Like, that's a huge deal right now. So now FaZe is just trading kills back and forth, which is really good for them. Every trading kill is a massive deal on defense. Like, you want to trade kills on the last point. Shadowburn goes in, kills AKM. Reinforce here, this is a huge mistake. Massive mistake. There's 30 seconds left. What's the play here, guys? For all of you people new in chat, new in this game and shit, if your team is dead, if you just lost the fight, like they just lost the fight, 100% they lost the fight. If you're in this game right now, you should know that FaZe just won that fight. All of these players are mostly respawns. Reinforce is actually just alone here. Like, he needs to just die. Like, he is the only person alive, he is the only person on the cart, and there's like 35 seconds left. You guys can't see it, I can't see it, but I think it's like 35 seconds. He needs to just, like, his options here are literally, you stand here, you hit your shift key, and you say LOL, and you just go. That's all you're doing here, you're just going. That's all you should do here. This is the mindset you should be in, is I need to die. How do I die fast? Just go. But he doesn't. He's like, I'm gonna fight. I think we're still winning this fight or something. I don't know what's going on in his head, but he stays here and he just keeps swinging, keeps swinging, keeps swinging. And then not only does he keep swinging, he earth shatters. Now what's interesting here is not only was this a really bad play, but he somehow forced a response out of Forsaken. I think Forsaken saw this and got confused. Like, I would get confused. So he's like, shit, I need to save Fact Fiction because he just got earth shattered. But Fact Fiction's thinking to himself, like, why did I just get earth shattered? So in reality, it wasn't the worst trade because he traded earth shatter for the sound barrier. But you want that earth shatter. Like, you really want this earth shatter because that's like a huge stun. Like, that's all that they had. That was their only ult. That was the only ult on their team. 8%, 57, 19, 22, 27, hike. And he just like snaps the ball right up the middle. And like, why? This is where I think, like, when you make mistakes like this is a big mistake. And you don't really get to make these kinds of mistakes if you're trying to like win the Overwatch Open. So that happens, but you still think to yourself that he's gonna die. So now he's dead. Shadowburn just pops Dragon Blade because he's like, what is going on, guys? Why is this fight still happening? Like, they're actually so confused. This game just goes to shit right here. Like, first of all, this was a battle, this was a battle, and now this was a battle. But it's okay for FaZe. Like, this is okay for FaZe. Like, this is a pretty big mistake, don't get me wrong. Like, why did they pop these ults? Like, Fact Fiction can die, who cares? Reinforce is going to die anyway. But everyone, this game just went into full chaos mode. Like, they're just like, oh my god, like, we're playing Overwatch, wow. And like, they're just hitting Q and shit, no one knows what's going on. And like, these two ults, like, this Dragon Blade did actually nothing. Like, yeah, this was like all just NA ults everywhere. Like, everyone's just hitting NA ults, and you're just like, well, what is going on? So, but this favors defense, because Rogue has nothing now. Wynn's only just switched to Zarya, doesn't have Graviton. Like, these two are gonna have ult soon, and that's what you have to worry about. But no ults versus no ults is good for defense because it means that the odds of Rogue team wiping them is very, very slim. And that's a win for FaZe. Even though they blew their ults, they're still in the driver's seat because they have the ults. Like, the ults are still even in the fact that nobody has any. Like, that's still a win for the defense. Because the odds of them team wiping Rogue are so slim. So Tuizi's just going to get in the back, sits in the back here. All he has to do is not die. Nobody wants to die. Zoms gets Graviton, they use it. Backfishin swings through, they have no answer to this. Like, there was nothing that they could do because they had nothing. They had no ults. Like, there's nothing here. And if they had the Earth Shatter, maybe they win. I doubt they win. I think that they would have lost anyway. But maybe if they still had Earth Shatter, someone lives long enough to get the Nano Boosted Death Blossom. Like, they're sitting at 95 and 96% when the game ends. And maybe if they had it, they could have ended the map. I mean, the odds of them winning in overtime, obviously very slim as well. But there were a lot of mistakes made in this game. And I don't want to like call anybody out, but like you could see mistakes being made in this game. And it just shows like how much more there is in terms of room for improvement at the high level. Like you don't want these mistakes happening. So yeah. That was that.